Hi guys, Kaze here. Welcome back. We're back with some more Men of Yoshiwara. Oh yeah, with Asagiri. Before we start, I'd like to remind you guys, please don't forget to vote for our next guy, be it Gakuto or Utsusemi. Those are our choices, and that will be the one which will be following after we finish with Asagiri. Anyway, let us continue with chapter 2, The Glamour. The shroud of night fell upon the land again, and the flower of Yoshiwara bloomed. My third time here. Once again, I would get closer to Asagiri. Ohgiya is right over here. Someone from the tea house brought me to one of the first-class pleasure houses. Ohgiya, it said in bright letters. From the beautifully dyed front curtain shook. Its exterior decorations were a sight to behold, standing out from the other establishments by it. My lady, I shall take my leave here. Very well. Unease pushed me. However, I couldn't depend on Musashi forever. I forced myself to put on a strong smile. Will you come to escort me when I'm done? I shall, my lady. I'll come to the gate when the time comes. Thank you. Of course. I slowly turned my back on Musashi, but the moment I moved to go through the front curtain. Kaze? Hearing a name, I stopped where I was. I looked around, wondering who had called me when a flash of pink ran across my vision. Something floated down lightly from above, and then, Kaze, I'm here. I looked up, following the pleasant voice. There, I saw Asagiri poking his face out from the second floor and looking down. And floating down from his hands were pink petals? Flower petals? I figured I'd come out to greet you. What do you think? Beautiful, aren't they? I looked at him as a blizzard of pink petals overtook my vision. His soft, glossy hair fluttered in the wind, covering and revealing his white skin in tandem. The soft scent the petals gave off smelled like Asagiri's. Very beautiful. He looked like he was surrounded by flower petals, like something straight out of a dream. And tonight, with someone so beautiful, someone out of a fantasy, I had thought of this since I figured I would see you again. And don't you think a reunion covered in petals really sets the mood? Indeed. I raised my hand to try to catch the falling petals. They tickled and smelled so sweet. And these petals blowing away in the wind once, they reached my hands. Were just like Asagiri's. I couldn't help but thinking. Not easy to catch, and even when captured, they merely blew away. Asagiri. Come on up, and let me embrace your flower-kissed skin. My cheeks were heating up. I softly closed my hand around the petals in it and smiled at him in return. Asagiri's white hand beckoned to me. His hand, his expression, his movements, they were all so alluring, so beautiful. I held my chest as my heart beat faster and faster and went off to Asagiri's room. We walked through the wide hallway before my guide stopped in front of a certain room. Then, as I slid the door open, a familiar scent tightened my chest. Without knowing why it pained my chest so, I held it, as if keeping the hurt at bay. Kaze, good to see you. Asagiri, with a smile every bit as gentle as his scent, beckoned me closer with his delicate, immaculate hand. Thank you for the petal shower. I take it you liked it then. Very much. I'm glad to hear it. Now, come on over here. Though he told me to come to him, he moved to the entrance to his room for me. That's when I noticed his hand had taken mine, bringing me back to my senses. In that moment, I realized our hands were touching. The cool, crisp sensation of his hand put my senses on edge. It was quite a bit of work to pull all of those petals one by one, you know. But, well, you know. He pulled my hand a little closer and took my other one. We were close, facing each other, point blank. I couldn't stop blinking from embarrassment. Yes? Fortune-telling, with flowers. He giggled. My hands in his, he let out a high, innocent laugh, like a terribly young child. I couldn't help noticing the vast difference from his mature, beautiful visage. Do you mean the flower fortune-telling I think you do? Though I cannot read your mind, I believe we are thinking of the same thing. The practice where you pluck petals to find if the object of your desire loves you or not. Does he love me? He loves me not. I won't call that fortune-telling, but okay. I guess technically it is. Right, that one. I thought I would try my hand at that, you see. So I divined your feelings as I plucked the petals. It's quite the fun diversion. Now, what do you think the flower spirits told me? Go on, guess. Asagiri slid his fingers around mine. As if the space between our fingers had a heart of its own, it began to beat loud and heated. I say, I love you not. I don't know. I don't know. Tell me. I don't know. But it would be glad if it turned out well, I answered honestly, drawing a bright smile from him. In divination, there are good and bad results. Let's just think about the good ones. I agree. Well, Kaze, you see, I tried this divination a few times, but a few of the spirits told me love a touch too much. My! Seeing him smile like he was glad from the bottom of his heart, I couldn't help doing the same. Though I do hold a small amount of pity for the cherry blossoms, I must say. Suddenly, Asagiri gracefully lowered his eyes. Just why did my heart leap when he did? The thick makeup on his eyelids stole my eyes away. Why? What? Wait, what? The thick makeup on his eyelids stole my eyes away? That makes my heart go hoo hoo. Okay. I'm sure the flower feels no pain, but its life is short to begin with, yet I tore them apart. His lowered eyes gently crawled over my feet, and he released my hand. When I realized he'd released me, his back was already turned. Then he turned around and called my name. But come this way anyhow, Kaze. The face he showed me as he turned around was so beautiful, so cheerful, so nearly glowing. And I fell speechless. It was him as he normally was, yet something seemed different. He wore a different expression, and I could not pin down why. The face of his showed me a change I knew I would never see again. What's the matter, Kaze? What causes you delay? Come, right this way. Of course. There was no way I could say I'd gotten lost in looking at his beauty. I pretended to be composed as much as I could and went up by his side. He took my hand, chuckling, and down into my open palm flowed flower petals. Oh, I kept a few. But the petals you gave me. What's the matter? I let down in disappointment the petals that filled my hands. I kept just a few of the petals you gave me sprinkling down outside my hands. And now, they've gotten mixed up with the new petals then. And besides, I've already taken your hand. Well, I was glad to catch them, but I wanted to flatten them and make decorations. Decorations? Is that strange? His eyes went wide. I worried I had said something strange. Not in the least. I was simply stunned that there were still women who were well versed and etiquette about. Etiquette? I would say. Asagiri looked at me in the face as I hesitated, reassuring me with a smile. I had always liked working with my hands, so I loved making flower decorations and other knickknacks like that. But more than anything, since today was a special day, to commemorate my time with Asagiri. Nothing. The petals are all the same, right? When my words of excuse left me, Asagiri shook his head. I wouldn't say that. I don't think any one flower petal is the same. How about putting them back here? Huh? Asagiri had a box of plucked petals in front of me. I wasn't quite sure what he was up to, but I dropped the petals into it. Then he pulled out a folded sheet of paper from his pocket. What do you think's in here? He opened it for me to see. From inside came 2 pink flower petals, then 3. Hey, these are... These are the petals you were holding onto so dearly. What? When did you... I noticed them when we held hands, so I thought I'd play a little trick on you. Asagiri giggled, his expression positively devious. That was terrible. and I couldn't come out and say that. Desire to pout mixed with a strange gladness in me. Maybe that held my tongue. Or perhaps I simply didn't want to come clean about how I felt. Angry, Kaze? No, just surprised. You can get mad, you know. I want to know more about you. I want to know the way your mind works, my dear. And as he whispered at me, his voice lowered than usual. He softly placed the flower petals into my hand. When will you show me your true self? The you who will tell me how you really feel? Do I need to? Well, if all you desire is my seed, then you do not. Well, first time someone put it flat out there. If you want my seed, yeah, no, you don't need to worry about it. Okay. But I must say, Kaze, you don't look like that kind of girl. He looked at me with the warm, merciful eyes. His statement felt like a tiny needle poking at my chest, and I found myself unable to puzzle out a response. Yet he let out a single big blink, and the pleasantness overtook his expression. So how will you take them home to make decorations out of them? Uh-huh. Flower petals. You do want to make decorations out of them, don't you? Oh, that's right. Could you make 2 or 3 for me, too? Say, no luck. No, if you wish it, I would do it gladly, but I wish to dry out the petals, so might I have that paper? Of course. He slowly opened up the paper, and I laid the petals on it. 1, 2, 3. You get 3. And I get 3, too. Would you make decorations out of these for me? Gladly. And then he rubbed the petals in the paper and then put it into my pouch. As I tended to that, Asagiri pulled the refreshment tray in and poured our drinks. Over here, Kaze. How about we begin our night of pleasure with a bout of pleasant drunkenness? Sometimes I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do, and I just froze. And when I did, Asagiri would, come on, over here. Oh, beginning to lay his hand on me and then steal me away. I went into his arms as if falling into his hands. I noticed, Kaze, that sake is not your strong suit. So today I prepared a light, sweet drink for you. He pulled me on my waist and held me firmly in his arms, embracing me from behind as Asagiri had captured me. I could feel his warmth from my back and smell his sweet scent. Then, he buried his face into my nape. Then he inhaled deeply and exhaled a wave of heat. Oh, Kaze, you have the same scent as I. Seems you were really quite attached to each other. Yeah, this is just... I had put in a little bit of the scent he had given me last time. It was just a formality. It was just a formality, but... Just what? Quiet? I liked it. I put it on since I was going to be you. I liked it. I liked it. Oh, you did? Glad to hear it. He chuckled with his answer. Then ever so slowly he ran his finger down my neck. I shuddered and turned around to lock eyes with him, with his fears of desire. Kaze, if you put it just a little bit closer to the back of your ears, it'll smell even better. All right. Right here. His fingers caressed the back of my finger, almost tickling me. Just before I told him to stop, as if he sensed me, he pulled his hand away. Kaze, you really are honest. How could he think that? Knew that everything I said was sulky. Yet before I could say that, his feathery finger appeared on my lips. All of my thoughts vanished. All I could focus on was what was happening to me in the seductive eyes gazing onto me and digging into my heart. How about becoming even more honest? You don't believe how fond of you I am yet, do you? His finger gently caressed my lips, and its every movement enticing. A heat took my lips. It wasn't unpleasant in any sense of the word, but I could feel my eyes moistening. I have taken quite a liking to you. I don't believe you. And why don't you? He flicked up my lower lip. Right after, he brought a swig of sake to his mouth and pushed his lips against mine. Mm. I struggled with the sudden kiss fighting inside his arms. He held my body down and supported the back of my head. Oh, it was getting heated. And deep kiss followed deep kiss, and his tongue twisted its way into my mouth. I couldn't resist, and the alcohol that ran down my throat scorched in its sweet spice. And then I swallowed. His tongue slid around inside my mouth as if enjoying the remnants of the sake. A numbing sensation ran through me. Then, as I fearfully clung to him, his lips suddenly pulled away, and as a complete contrast to his hungering kiss, he embraced me with unreal gentleness. A bit rough, but I had to get you to notice me as a man one way or another. Angry Kaze. Just what could I say? I felt a fire taking over my throat and heart. If you cannot answer, then shall we proceed? That's what you want tonight, isn't it? His sweet, quiet whisper lapped my ear. He was right. Tonight I had to. I had to do what I came here for. You're right. I can't get weak in the knees over this. You really say the cutest things, Kaze. Still in his arms, I found myself gently pushed down. Fear suddenly overcame me, and I clutched tightly onto Asagiri's kimono. Then, after looking into his eyes, my own begging for help, I realized what was going on and quickly looked away. Are you afraid, Kaze? No, I'm not. You are, aren't you? The hands you've got on me, they're shaking. I'm sorry. Such a pity. I quickly pulled my hands away, and then Asagiri wouldn't let me escape. He held them tight. Then, smoothly moving them into a single-handed grip, he made me realize for the first time the masculine strength he harnessed within. I could take you here and now. His tempting eyes struck me. Asagiri brought his lips to my neck. I flinched, pulling painfully at the hair caught under my bound hands. But if you prefer to wait until our hearts grown more acquainted, then I wouldn't mind. Either choice is all right in my book. I will do whichever you wish. For some reason, my chest hurt. Were I to know such a beautiful person, what would I gain? What would I lose? Asagiri? Asagiri, what do you wish? Do you wish to be with me quickly, since that is your duty? Oh my, that is quite an interesting question. Do you not remember? I said I am quite fond of you. His eyebrows descended, giving way to a smooth smile. He reached out and stroked my cheek with his soft, cool hand and spread his smile to his eyes. Asagiri, you're a master of dodging questions. Am I now? I believe you are. I'm asking a serious question, yet you... Feeling sadness build up, I lowered my eyes, but Asagiri gently put his hand around my back and pulled me up. Then, perhaps I should become serious as well. Shall I slice off my little finger and give it to you as proof of my affection? Oh, please don't. What? You needn't act so surprised. But your finger! Serious man Yoshiwara, you see, slice off a little finger and gift them to our beloved. That should be enough to show one's affection. No. Cutting off one's finger is far too much. You cannot. You do not need to go that far. Well, if I do not, you will not believe me, will you? If it all takes is a finger, that is the price I will pay gladly. I do not wish for you to lose a finger, Asagiri. Not one of his thin, beautiful fingers. I did not desire him to lose one of them, nor did I want him to feel such pain, such fear. All right, Kaze. If you're going to look at me with such sad eyes, let's do this. Without his smile moving an inch, he took a blade for shaving. What? What? Wait, you mustn't. Yet before I could stop him, he sliced off a lock of his hair. Okay, well, that's much better than a finger, I must say. 20%, yay! Alright, guys. I'll see you in the next episode. Don't forget again to vote on the poll for either Utsusemi or Gakuto. Oh, yes. Like if you like, dislike if you dislike. Leave a comment below if you have any thoughts. Anyway, I'll see you guys in chapter 3. Until then, bye, guys.